Odd blank drinking game. Let's make it fun, right? Every time we say that bit when, take a
Have a
shot.
swig of water.
That bit when.
That portion was great.
The scene where
I liked that bit when.
Hello and welcome back to the Pod Blank podcast. Dan, that is just foul. I can't believe you did that live. We're carrying on. My name is Ben Miller and I'm joined with the boys once again. Introduce yourself, lads.
Ben Hubert.
I'm Dan Jones, the boy that just spat on the floor.
I'm Tom Potter.
And I'm Charlie.
And today we are talking about a film called It's Such a Beautiful Day by Don Hertzfeldt, made in 2012, I think.
Yeah,
it was
right,
my
yeah.
pick.
Alright, fine.
My pick for the recommendation. And so, what did you boys think of it? Is what I want to know.
Pretty happy.
Bloody good first impression.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah.
We pick good films for this podcast, and it's going to be very rare that we're going to say otherwise.
We also only pick sad as
No,
fuck
we cannot-
existential films.
Yeah.
We cannot pick a sad
Yeah, we
film.
need to. Like, Dan, I know that you've already got a film in mind, but please tell me it's something happy.
It's,
'Cause
it's,
I don't know.
it is a little bit.
Oh,
A little
It's
bit
not.
happy.
It's not that happy. It did make me. It did. No, it's the first.
It made
Just
you
a
cry.
disclaimer. It's the first film that actually made me cry.
Oh, no.
Marley and B.
I'm on the ropes here, Dan.
Mamma Mia 2. Here we go again.
But if you haven't watched
Sorry.
the film,
Watch it.
ideally you should
I'm
go watch
sorry.
that. before
It's
the
only
podcast.
only an hour long, so it's a quick watch, quite an entertaining watch. It will fly by.
Yeah.
It's actually just like proper good. So
It's got 3 chapters as well, so
Yeah, because originally it was 3 short films that he made over a very long time, I think, and then just made it into one. So yeah.
because it does feel a little bit disjointed, doesn't it? But then that's kind of the idea, so it doesn't matter.
It does. I say like around the middle part is where you like the start of chapter 2, where it goes back to him as a child.
Yeah,
That's like the bit where it's like, oh, what's
there's the
going on?
chronology.
But then it like goes back
Mm.
to being in again, I guess, which is fine and it's good.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it.
Mm.
What was everyone's first impressions from it? First.
I really enjoyed it. I've seen it once before.
Yeah. So me and Ben
back
had
in
seen it.
the first lockdown. Haven't really got any bones to pick with it because it's its own sort of film. I personally can't say anything bad about it because it's just its own like art, if you know what I mean. It's not following any conventions. It's its own thing, and for that reason, I can't really say anything bad about it if that's good enough reason. But
Yeah, no, I kind of agree.
I thought it was a bit. As someone that doesn't really watch that very many like experimental films, I did
Yeah.
find it a little bit difficult to understand.
Mm.
I mean, it's kind of very different to standard conventions within film.
So
I think that's. But the thing is about film is the fact that why are things conventional? Like, as I think we
That's
spoke
what I
about this
always
couple of weeks ago, was like, why isn't it just in a triangle frame? But like
Yeah.
the fact that it's in like all these
Yeah.
little, cool little visual things, I think
Yeah.
really actually adds quite a lot to it. I thought it was quite interesting to watch, especially from someone that doesn't really watch films like that very often.
yeah, like
No, I thought it was really interesting.
and branching off of that, like it being not conventional is like the whole point of that film is literally telling you exactly what is happening in front of you through the narrator, literally going, Bill was doing this, Bill saw this, Bill thought this, and it's like the opposite of what like basically you're told to do is like the number one rule:
Yeah.
show, not tell.
Mhm.
This film basically just tells you everything.
Yeah.
What I really liked about it is like how what the narrator chose to mention really shows what was going through like Bill's sort of like mind state at the time. Like usually like he's like super distant and away from like reality, isn't he? So like he'll be walking down the street and mention Bill saw a decaying bird on the ground on his way to work, and that's the only thing you get from his way to work because there's nothing else of note to Bill to mention.
That's a good point.
But I think from my first impressions with it, I thought that the strongest thing about it is how it takes something as abstract as animation and utilizes that to its advantage to tell how abstract like human experience is, because you only remember things in fragments and patches and the little like vignettes of what life is. And I feel like the way, especially with the narrator, kind of elevates it further, but like how it captures those little, it's like hyper specific parts of life that like all blend together into this weird mishmash where everyone looks the same and nothing really has any nothing's tangible and everything's just kind of a blur. I feel like that's the strongest thing about the film. It really captures that feeling of life kind of being this fleeting memory really well.
I think the what you were saying there about like the insignificance of all the things that it tells you in the narration about what he sees and experiences and things. I think it's the build up of them which makes it feel like a memory, because like initially when I first started watching it, I was like, why is he pointing out all these different things? But the further through it you get, you start to forget some of the things, and it starts to feel like a memory in itself in a way, which is quite interesting.
There's something I really
before.
respect about it is sort of what Tom said, is like how it uses how like creative you can be with animation, and like it fully takes animation and just goes fully insane with like anything you can pretty much do with that art form. Whereas like if I see like another just pretty standard like animation where it's like, because literally with animation you could do anything pretty much, and if it's like so standard, it's just such like a waste to me of like that art.
Like The Simpsons or Family Guy. It might as well. They might as well just shoot it, right?
Because it sticks to film convention so strongly, doesn't it?
It's like the dialogue and like what they say is the funny thing for the most part. Family Guy, isn't it?
That's true.
Simpsons. Although there is some slapstick element.
Oh, and the talking dog, but and the talking baby, but that's all right. We'll ignore that.
True.
I was just so surprised by like the whole film's like attitude, like the whole feeling of the film. I wasn't expecting that at all. I was thinking that it was probably I was picturing it being silent actually in my head. Or at least no dialogue whatsoever. But then when the narrator came in, his like monotonal like voice was like so like weirdly funny, but at the same time so morbid.
It did feel comedic, didn't it?
Yeah. I found it just like quite infectious. The whole like as soon as he started talking, I was like, I'm so on board with this film.
Yeah, I remember when I first watched it. Sorry, when I first watched it, the.
Go ahead, Ben. Go ahead.
We need to fucking have banners that we hold up when we want to.
No, sorry, it's only a quick one. But when I first watched it, I only just remembered. But when he started narrating, I was like, oh, I've got some sort of. I must have clicked the button so people that are blind can like watch the film or something, because it doesn't sound like what you'd expect narration to be. It sounds like it's pointing out things in the program or in the film, which I just found quite funny. And obviously, I quickly got used to it, but initially, I thought it was for other reasons.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah, Finn, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was actually going to say the narrator is Don Hertzfeldt, which is the guy who made it.
Yeah. Well, he was the only like member of production, wasn't he? He did it all himself.
He did it all himself. That is actually insane to me. How that.
I think there was an editor.
Yeah, there was an editor to be fair. But like,
what did he make the music or not? I didn't see that.
No, a lot of the music was like classical, like especially in the.
I thought it had a very strong soundtrack.
Oh yeah. But I mean, like, there's like a mix throughout. But,
it changes so much, doesn't it? Like, it goes from just random sounds
actually,
to
he did
pieces of music.
He did do some of the sound. I remember seeing it on the. Which is again.
I think the strongest bit of when I like most noticed the sound in it was whatever. I think it was a classical piece. I can't really remember, but it did stand out to me. The scene where he has a near-death experience, and then they decide that he's fine, and then he goes back to work, and it's that bus journey to work
where
the
like
screen
blue.
is
It's like
broken
blue,
up into 4 sections, like a window or
Oh,
something.
okay.
I can't quite remember, but whatever the music is that plays then, very nice.
Yeah.
I think it's very different to like, oh god, I can't remember now. Wait. No, because I think it's the music then is very different to the rest of the music and the rest of the film. Really, I think it's when he like kind of begins to kind of understand what's going on, because he's basically insane, isn't he? This character, Bill.
Yeah, he's got
And
like
I
a
think
weird
this is something.
brain.
It's like a genetic
it's like a-
thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, seems
but
like
it's
it.
not though.
Yeah, it's like you can't trust. I love how like you can't really trust.
Because
Oh
his-
yeah, because
it's not,
he made it up to make it make sense.
rationalize
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
It's like it's
It's
so
not genetic.
deep.
All the
It's so
stories you
deep.
heard about his grandma and his mother aren't true.
Yeah.
They're just stories he made up in his head to
Yeah.
rationalize what
But
was happening.
didn't he found the doctor's note suggesting that his mum never have a child? Is that also a fake memory? It's
I
actually a
don't
very
know. But that's
if
kind of the whole thing, though.
yeah.
it's
It
all
brings
about how-
unreliable narrator to
Yeah.
like a whole new.
The whole thing is like his stream of consciousness that is unreliable and is like fleeting and fragmented and like dreamlike, and there's nothing like solid to any of it. But I feel like that impacts you as a viewer so like much, because I feel like that's how it captures, that's how when we experience life, it is kind of like, obviously it's like extremified and etc. But like the way we experience life is similar to a certain extent. Like you remember the hyper specific details of, oh, I looked down and I saw that penny on the floor that had this little mark on it or whatever. And like all these different fragments that you think you remember things that you never actually happened, and like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all like this messy stream of consciousness that we all have. But
I have a good way of putting it. Whenever I am on my computer and I'm sitting here on my computer and I go, I need a wee. And that's what I think to myself. I go, your bladder's telling you that you need a wee. You need to go to the toilet and relieve yourself by urinating into the toilet. So I start my journey to the toilet, but then I'm at the toilet. Like that.
Yeah.
I never remember my journey to the toilet.
Oh yeah,
And
that's true.
But I notice that pretty much every time I go to the toilet, and it's terrifying. Really, really, really awful, like sinking feeling when I go, why don't you just look around on your way to the toilet or something? Like,
Yeah, I have the same feeling.
Try and notice something.
This is fucking allegory for life.
It's such like
Is
a
the toilet
procedure,
your
though,
death
isn't it?
place?
The same thing happens when I lock the door.
Notice
like,
something along the
I
way.
never remember. How strange.
It's all about who we meet along the way. Isn't
I
it?
always get that when I'm driving sometimes. When it's like,
Forget
you know,
you're
when you're
driving.
driving and you just get there and you're sort of like,
Oh yeah.
how did I even do all that those complex? Yeah, it literally is.
It makes you feel like you
Like,
must have.
yeah.
It feels like you should have crashed because you don't remember putting any thought
It's
into
just
what
so
you were
like,
doing.
it's so like muscle memory that you just go through the motions.
No,
Yeah.
Like, you just get there and you're like, sick.
I can never remember the last 3 corners. It's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, no, I think it
I really-
captures that.
Then that leads to the message at the end, because when he finds out that he hasn't got long left, and he like goes outside and he goes, oh, the grass is so green and my bath mat looks so good,
Yeah.
and all the colors in
Yeah.
my food cupboard, they look so beautiful, and I've never noticed it before, and all I want to do is just go out and keep noticing
Isn't
stuff.
everything amazing?
Yeah.
That's the bit, isn't it?
It's a good line.
Yeah. But then I really liked the ending,
Yeah,
actually.
the ending
in
is
that,
my favourite bit of it by far. Oh my god, it's so good.
like that contemplation on mortality as a thing of you can't really accept that you are just going to die, and then it just goes all the way to what if you just
Yeah.
lived forever.
Yeah, and it's like and another and
Mhm.
another and another and another.
Yeah.
It's
Goes on
like
and
that thing,
on.
you know, like when you like think to yourself, whenever I'm about to die, I'm just gonna carry on. I'm just gonna keep taking the next breath. It's easy. I've been doing it this whole time, so I'm gonna outlive the entire world. So fair enough.
Yeah. Bro, there's some deep shit in this film.
It's so sad.
And I'm still like processing it. I literally watched it.
You know the bit?
Like,
There's there's
ago.
one specific bit that gets me when I watched it both times. I was like, Jesus, I don't even know if that's like really sad or if it's just me. But like the bit when his ex brings her boyfriend to see him in hospital, and then like they see him and he sees the guy who's next to Bill. And then, like, in the car journey back, it just says, like, he just sat out the window and cried the entire journey back. I was
Mate,
like,
that broke my heart.
oh.
Because it's like he's obviously so detached from the situation, yet he's still so affected by it, which makes you feel okay about being affected as well. Yeah, that is sad.
What is the significance of the uncle? I never really got
I don't
that.
think.
I
think he's just like one of the familiar faces. I don't.
Yeah, I guess it's just like relatives that visit you that you don't really care about and
Isn't
don't
it
really
like
recognize.
Because like his mum dies, doesn't she? And then they have to sort of like sort out. It's like he comes in then to try and sort out all of her funeral stuff. And
it's when when the uncle said, "Oh, he says something like, oh, you only realize you have so many things you wish you could have said to someone." Like in your final moments, you wish you could have said all these things, and then it's like, then he said nothing.
Yeah.
I think the first time that you see the uncle is when he comes down from wherever he lives, which is apparently far away. I think it's to comfort his sister, who is his mum, isn't it?
Yeah.
When he's dying.
What I found really interesting is how when Bill was on his deathbed the first time, it's treated as nothing more than an inconvenience for everyone around him.
Yeah.
Like it's like when they decided he wasn't going to die,
they
removed all. We had to take all the flowers back and we had to put the casket back. It was a whole ordeal. We would have rather you just died because we were already emotionally prepared.
The vague annoyance and
I don't like it. I don't like Bill's mum.
Well, no, doesn't she try to?
I don't think the whole family's quite messed up.
I love how
that was his grandma.
Oh, his grandma. I love how easily identifiable.
She's the cat lady, isn't she?
Yeah.
How easily identifiable Bill is, or any of Bill's relatives are, just because they're wearing a hat.
Just from like 3 strands of hair.
Because they're wearing a hat. Bill wears a hat the entire thing.
Oh yeah. So I thought
the only other person that wears a hat is his dad, but that's because his dad is like a reflection of him.
It's
an endless continuum of just the same people forever.
Going on from that point you made, Stefan, I do like how all of the characters, considering these are all stick people, right? They're so simple. And he's got his hat, and then the girlfriend's got 3 or 4 strands of hair that just go down the back of her head. You know it's her. And
didn't even bother to properly draw characters.
No, but it doesn't take much, and they're all, you know who everyone is.
Yeah.
Don't you?
That's why I think it's like
I also really like
similar to Ghost Story, like
I thought that
simplicity of the design,
the minimalism,
and like how you still connect massively characters. Like, didn't realize it when I wanted to recommend this film, but this film is really similar to Ghost Story.
I thought so too. I thought in terms of the actual meaning behind the films as well, it's quite similar too.
Yeah, they both show such a different approach to filmmaking. I think.
Yeah.
Like it's completely from a different viewpoint. I think
the like materiality of the whole thing as well, like the cross. I don't know what to call it, but like the way he's used different forms of art to like in the animation, like there's photography involved and like actual and like cross media. That's what I was trying to think.
He rotoscopes a car for a second as well.
Yeah,
the rented car, just for like a couple seconds, he just rotoscopes it. And it's like, oh, okay, cool.
And towards the end, the girlfriend or the girl that's laying on the bed, and you just see her face. It's like the most realistic thing you see in the entire thing.
Yeah. But like, I love that is like the medium through which it's told is like these fragments of reality, and like, because for me, I feel like although there's no like literal what actually happened in the film, like this is just all this builds guys like consciousness in like, because it's like we're seeing his perception of like his descent into like essentially dying.
His deterioration,
but from his perspective. And because his perspective, like all of us, we see life from kind of an abstract standpoint, in that you need the toilet, and then all of a sudden you're in the toilet.
Yeah.
Good analogy.
Yeah.
I think that is just, and then you get little glimpses of a more real world and also even a more abstract world, like the use of the different, like the water effects and the light. And I love when it kind of plays with that weird materiality to it, but like when it like glitches out and like it literally
Just loads of light flares and
The bit
or
when
like slow
and,
shutter
like,
speed camera movements and
it's like the film you're watching is like falling apart in itself.
Yeah.
it's the bit when
It is like it's like the best visual representation of like a stroke I've ever
that is
seen.
exactly what I was going to say. Like I reckon,
Like when
having
the
seizure
doctor
or stroke is exactly what that film
Yeah.
shows it as. It's like he like loads of like light, he like properly like glitches out. Like his life glitches out basically, and he just wakes up disorientated with just voices saying, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you see me?" Like, and just a load of other like medical terms. Like it must just be so disorienting.
And it can layer up like so many different things because it's using such like these small areas of the screen at certain points. You can like overlap however much stuff you want, really. There's no constraint in that respect, which I think is pretty cool. I also love how, considering it's, I'd say mostly an animation, pretty much it is an animation, isn't it? But the
Pretty much
the include
I'd say it's a live action, man.
the inclusion of real world things like that car or the girl's face towards the end, it doesn't feel off because it already uses like these slow shutter images and all this other stuff. Even at one point, I'm pretty sure there's a sheet of paper being filmed, which he's like, you can see him moving down the screen to show like a list or something. But like none of it seems off, which must be hard to achieve. But
because I feel like the film perfectly like establishes that it's not like we're in a world of animation. It's that the animation is used as a tool through which to like as a way of representing like his subjective perspective of the world.
Yeah, it's not like in a world of stick people.
Yeah.
One man descends into madness.
It's like very cognitive and allegorical.
I love how
Yeah.
like the bit where he uses the like real stuff, like the real person and the real car. It like to me that's like symbolic of how the stick people, and that's like everything that in that drawn style is kind of what like Bill is seeing. Like that's what his life is living through that, because his brain is just so like damaged and deteriorated that like he sees everyone as like the same person, like just another stick figure apart from like the extreme people in his life.
Do you know what the first thing I did after watching it was? Is
go to the toilet for a week.
No, I
like somewhere.
I searched up the "Be Like Bill" meme in case that was where it came from. You know, the Bill sees incorrect information on Wikipedia and he corrects it. Bill is a decent person. Be like Bill. I thought that was where it came from. It's not. Turns out they're two different stick bills.
Was
not
that
the same.
a big relief for you?
No, I was quite excited about it. I was going to tell everyone at work tomorrow.
Can I say my favorite scene in the film?
Yes, Ben.
Ooh.
Which I think should be followed by everyone else's favorite scene. But it's the one where he's at the bus stop and his head just starts floating.
Floating. That is,
And that following on from there into the when he's on his deathbed and he's just surrounded by the people. The monologue that the narrator says there as well, like them two together. That was it for me. I was like, oh, that got me in a state.
Yeah.
Powerful, I think is the best way to describe it.
Me next.
I'll probably say, okay, go on, Charlie.
Yes.
Put your hand up.
My favorite was it was like quite early on, is when he gets the new medication and he wakes up the next day and he's like his room looks different, and then you see his room from his perspective and it's like pulsating and green, and and
Mm.
it and then like he goes outside and everything is just like a demented version of what he
That's
saw the
scary.
day
Yeah,
before.
it's kind of
like
scary at points,
like
isn't
how
it?
they mention like how he gets fruit from the back of the basket because everyone's crotches touches the stuff at the
Oh.
front.
Oh
So
yeah.
in the next day they've got like bugs around their crotches and they're rubbing it all on the fruit.
If you haven't watched the film, this is going to sound
Yeah,
horrendous.
really, you need to go
Don't know
watch
how
the
you made
film.
it as
It's
far.
yeah.
Go ahead, Dan. What's yours?
Mine probably is after his stroke when he finally like, because I saw this thing. I watched a couple of videos afterwards on YouTube about like strokes and stuff. I saw this TED talk, and they said how after a stroke you think of something with only your right brain, so it's very literal, and so like you see it in a completely different way to how you feel with both sides of your brain working at the same time. And like he saw it as like beautiful, didn't he? And that, I thought that was quite cool in terms of like the visuals for that as well. It's quite interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah. So like if he was only thinking literally, he would always find everything like amazing.
Yeah, it's like either one.
When the rest of his brain
he
is a
was
part
like,
of
this
it.
is so beautiful.
Oh, something I noticed.
Okay.
Bill would go on to say that, or the doctor would go on to say that Bill can't understand stuff in the past and present tense, and then from every moment then on, the narrator says everything in the future tense.
Does he?
Does he?
I
That would
think
be
he
so
does. I
clever.
think he
That
does.
would be so clever if that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's always this would go on to, or you know,
My
I
favorite.
didn't notice that, but that's impressive.
My favorite scene
because you can only understand the future tense.
Jonathan?
That's crazy. My favorite scene is definitely the end scene. The ending, I think,
Understandable.
Finally fucking over.
I think it ties the entire thing up just so perfect.
Ties it all together, man.
So
I think
perfect.
it was just. I think the end was like a nice little relief
Yeah,
because it was a little bit of positivity
It
at
made
the
me
end
feel
of it.
nice
Like
at the end, after like
Yeah.
such like a grueling hard trip to get
A
there.
draining
Yeah, it
film.
was so draining to get there, but once you get there, it's quite.
Just like the last podcast episode one.
Yeah. What would yours be, Tom?
I don't know really, because much like everything in Bill's life, it all really blurred together.
I found that.
yeah.
But I think that's the point. So, because I was thinking this, because I was like, is Finn gonna be like, what's your favorite shot? Because you can't really do that with this. And I was like, as I was watching, I was like, it doesn't really work to do that. And even favorite scene, like, although I do think it's disjointed in parts. Okay, that's separate. But like, there are separate
Save
scenes.
it for
I'm not
another
saying
day.
There's not, but like the whole thing is so fragmented that it's like all blurs. I don't know.
That's fair.
Maybe the one Ben said where his like head goes up into the clouds. I think I do actually have like a piece of because with the narrator's like dialogue throughout, there's like I need to find it, but there was the quote that like really hit me was when he's talking about like I can't remember what bit of the film it's at, but he's like on his deathbed either the first time or when he's actually like they're doing all the tests on him and stuff, and he's like thinking about actually coming to terms with accepting that he might die, and it's like talking about like aging and like when you're young and you view death as like this abstract impossible thing that will never happen to you, and but then as you get older all you can do is look back, because the one constant thing is that you can be sure of is that you'll get older and like you're nearing death.
Do you know what that is, Tom? It's when you're younger you're thinking about going to the toilet, and then when you're older you're at the toilet,
and all you can do is be like, I can't remember the journey. What happened?
You can't even piss.
But
the
like,
whole I'm
got
walking down the
kidney
stairs,
stones.
walking through the house, being like, God, I need a toilet. I can't wait to have this wee. And then I'm at the toilet and I'm going, God, why didn't I just appreciate the journey? Take a look at the beams,
It's
the
pain.
walls.
It's fun.
I watched that bit and I was just like, bro, just
It was a good message. I liked it.
live, laugh,
Love.
That was my take.
So basically, what you're saying is we've scrapped the favorite shot section of this episode.
Well, I actually have
I
a
think
favourite.
I
I
did find
thought
that
the
difficult.
first one was quite nice.
Well, if
I
everyone's got
liked
one,
it.
then let's do this part.
Yeah.
Favorite. What do you call
I
this
don't
part of
have
the
one.
podcast?
Shots of the week.
I mean, you don't have to
What's
say
the
one.
shot,
I just
isn't it?
think I just
What's
had
the
No,
one.
it's
shot?
what's the
That's what-
shot?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, what's the
Yeah,
shot?
yeah.
I just had one that I thought
It's on-
was quite
on there.
nice, and it was this one. I'll put it in the chat.
I thought it was the one that Tom put in of me.
Yeah, that is a good one. Why is that your favourite shot, Dan?
Just looks nice, isn't it?
That is the shot after the stroke. No, it's not. It's the shot after the stroke. When he just like starts to appreciate stuff. I just thought it looked pretty.
Yeah.
Because like the rest of the film's all in black and white, pretty much. Apart from all the actual like live action stuff.
Which is cool.
That
More
shot's
aggressive,
the
isn't
one
it?
that's actually got a bit of colour in it.
Yeah, and it's nice.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
thought it
good
was nice.
positive
That's-
shot.
I feel
Yeah,
like the
I
whole
liked it.
film's seeped in colour, though. I disagree.
Yeah, but not that
It's
sort of
either
colour.
grey or
Like,
it's
No. But
aggressive.
I mean like the rest of it is black or white. I mean, I can understand there's colour in it, but I'm saying the drawings is black and white rather than that one where it looks
okay.
I see.
Yeah,
drawn onto a wash, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
fair enough. Yeah.
But
some
yeah,
sweet watercolours there.
that's pretty much.
Has anyone else got a favourite?
So I'm
one?
guessing you don't have one, Tom.
I like the one where the lights or the stars are like raining down and he's looking up.
That is good.
That's one that stuck with me. But again, I feel like
I disagree with
Yeah,
this whole principle.
fuck this segment, man, for this film.
I quite like the shot. I think it's just because I've seen it so much because it's on the thumbnail, I think, for the film. The one quite early on in the film where he's on the beach in one sort of segment and he's looking down at the "I love you" in the sand, and it's just very sweet the way he's just looking at it.
He's a very
I feel like
sweet
that-
little character, Bill. You just
Like I'd have that as a background.
he makes
do you know
my
what I mean?
heart melt.
Our podcast should turn into a session where we just describe shots from the film. And see
Well, I
if the
forget it
audience
can go here,
like-
can't it?
This is a replacement for watching the film, okay? So
I've got an idea of what we can rename the podcast. We could just rename it "That Bit When," because that's what every one
That
of
Bit
our
When.
sentences start with.
I don't remember exactly, but that bit when.
Did anyone have?
Can we? No. Fuck you, okay? There's a new segment this week, and the new segment is it's not what's the best shot, what's your favourite shot, it's what bit of existential dialogue fucked you up the most. Okay,
Woo!
That's
Ben,
Me, okay.
now.
I haven't thought about it. This is intense.
I can say mine.
Does anyone else have one in
Yeah,
mind?
I got
'Cause
one,
I need to think.
It's the bit where he says
No way.
boyfriend like cries at the window.
Hmm.
That bit gets me every
Oh,
time.
That bit when.
That bit where
That bit when-
Everyone watching is going to notice this the whole way through now.
Drinking game. Pod blank drinking game. Let's make it fun, right? Every time we say that bit when, take a
Have a
shot.
swig of water.
Did anyone have any
No.
issues with it? Criticism?
Oh wait, you haven't let the others reminisce.
Are we actually
their
doing that? I
existential-
thought that was just a bit.
Thought that was a joke, Tom.
God, Finn, can't we take some time to
No, go.
confront our mortality?
Go then.
Oh, I think one part in it, which I mean, it's not purely the narration; it is the scene actually. But when he keeps looping around on the block,
The segment.
Oh.
the more it happens, I'm just like, oh, this is sad. What are you laughing
No,
at? What is
no,
it?
Number
that
one,
bit got
that
me.
bit when. Number two,
Oh yeah.
no dialogue.
When he.
How
that
didn't I
part-
notice?
The segment in which the events occurred.
We're gonna put a list of all of the different options we've got.
Pod
So do you
blank
guys like that
bingo.
scene? Or-
Yeah, that portion was great.
That portion
Yeah.
was great.
That helping of the film was.
A selection of shots, lovely.
Do you have
A collection of moments.
Do you have?
I
That
indulged
hand-
in chapter 3.
Do you have?
Yeah,
some-
no, Ben, that bit really got to me. I said bit again, shit.
You can say words. It's okay.
Charlie, do you have?
I can't-
Do you have a piece of?
I can't think of any. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
You mean you can't think of any parts, or you can't think of a way to start
Oh,
the sentence without
I
getting
liked.
laughed at?
I liked that bit when. I didn't actually mean to do that. I realised it halfway through.
Tom might have a heart attack. Tom's gonna have a stroke.
Oh, my cheeks hurt.
I'm crying.
Right, are we moving on to any
Oh.
issues?
Real tears. There's real tears.
I cried for this podcast. Wait, do it for the thumbnail.
Thomas Potter loves films so much that he's in tears.
Oh,
I feel like you're really sweaty.
yeah, man. Oh, sorry.
If I had to complain about one part, it would be the bit when. I actually can't think of anything to complain about. I don't really have much of a problem.
Are we on complaints? now?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay.
You gotta say that bit when
What?
you weren't happy with that.
It's not even funny. Right.
Go on, Tom.
Okay. I personally thought that there's nothing on the most part the film is fantastic, but I did think that whilst the narration does do a lot for the film, and it's very self-aware of its role in the film, I feel like in certain parts it like I don't know, it just became a bit obnoxious in parts. Like it was a bit like self-indulgent with its own hyper-specific quirkiness. It was like, guys, look how many little details I can list over and over and over and over again. And
I feel like that's important.
It's good for like 50 minutes of the film, but there were certain scenes where I was just
But
like,
for the last 10,
just shut the fuck up, please. Just for like a minute.
You know
It
that
was like got a bit annoying. That's all I'm saying.
but it's like that fast progression through. Like there's no break. It's just constantly pointing. Like for me at least, it like constantly pointing things out. You get halfway in the film and you're forgetting what's going on earlier. I don't know. It's sort for me, it adds something. That constant narration.
100%. It adds it.
You just wish you said something else.
I can't even
think
describe it. I just think sometimes it becomes a bit self-indulgent in its own like
overstayed its welcome a little bit.
a little bit.
I can
Like,
see
it
how
was
you would
really
think
good.
that. I can see where you're coming from.
Especially because of his.
I can
he's
understand
got
why you're
an annoying
confused.
voice as well.
Oh, I love the
Can we
guy's
all agree he's
voice.
got an annoying voice?
No,
I don't know.
I thought it was perfect for it.
Okay, remove David Attenborough from Planet Earth and have back kid's voice. Okay.
I'm watching
No,
it.
but that's for the film. Like
If they did that, I would actually
different.
care about the environment.
Yeah, Ben, I'm decontextualizing it from the film just as a voice. Okay?
Charlie Martin.
Don
Sorry,
Hertzfeldt.
Tom.
You heard
Don
me.
Hertzfeldt as a man, yeah, genius.
Yeah.
Voice, shitter.
We're gonna get the best sizzle reel from this podcast.
As a voice. Shit.
Shit.
I have to disagree, but each to their own. That's fine.
He's not gonna shag you, man.
Calm down.
No, fair enough. Each their own.
Tensions arising.
In the jungle.
One thing I can help but think about the whole thing is like, how do you even start writing something like that?
That's why it's genius.
Like,
That's why.
how does he how does he know that in the next scene he's gonna mention that, you know, he's making toast but can't quite remember how or something
And
like
then
that?
it all
Like,
works as well.
Yeah.
Like it's all got reason.
It's very messy and chaotic, and
Does anyone want
I
to
don't
check
know
if
where
he's
you
alright?
start with that.
I hope someone checks he's alright. I feel like he's not.
What? Is he still
Yeah,
alive?
is he okay?
Yeah, he is alive. He's still making
That's
stuff.
good, because I just slagged him off. It was a joke. You're a great filmmaker. You definitely was.
wait, I'm gonna go check up on him.
He's 44.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's definitely the whole. My point is the whole.
Are you backtracking now that you found out he's
No, 'cause
alive?
Nah.
He's gonna come for you.
Would it be more scary if he's dead? Don't disrespect to the dead man.
Should have told you. Don't.
Oh no,
But-
he's very active on Twitter.
no.
His
Say-
bio,
say that- let
his
him know you
bio
like
his bio is director of things, 2 times Oscar loser.
Oh, man.
That's so sad.
That's still a bit of a flex, isn't it?
so sad.
Oscars are shit, mate. I bet Toy Story 3 beat this or something. What year did this come out?
Tom, are
2012?
you not saying that Toy Story 3 is the epitome of animated film in our time? Prick. Andy had to let them go, Thomas.
Do you understand
Yeah,
the
100%.
emotional weight behind that decision?
This is 100% the best animated film I've ever seen.
Lotso Huggin' Bear
Ooh,
is
that's
the
a good one.
best
That's a big
antagonist in a
claim.
film I've ever seen.
I think it's my
What about
second,
Toy Story 4?
second or third. I think it's joint second with
With
Spirited Away.
Despicable Me.
Fantastic,
Spirited Away,
fantastic,
for
Mr.
sure.
Fox is
Finding Nemo.
No, don't be silly. It's Finding Dory. Come on.
Oh, Finding Dory
Finding
was so
Nemo
boring.
was like ahead of its time.
I like Finding
Was
Dory.
that
The fish could
I
speak.
I can't lie to you.
What are some good animated films?
Ratatouille.
Yeah, I
Spirited
can't
Away.
think of what my
Ratatouille.
favourite
Everything
one
by
is.
Studio Ghibli.
Zootropolis.
I actually haven't seen Zootropolis.
Silence.
Zootopia? Zootropolis?
Zootropolopia.
Zootopia.
Zootropi?
Yeah, one of them. They're good.
I like Spirited Away.
Listen.
Devilman Crybaby.
Mine is my
Boss
top.
Baby.
My top three is Fantastic Mr. Fox, then this and Spirited Away a second, and then Ratatouille's like.
You're such a little thirsty.
Yeah, mate.
I think
don't care.
Spirited Away.
Oh
Spirited Away is my favorite for sure.
yeah,
then
that
this.
film slap. No, I do love that film. It's probably one of my favorite.
It's great. It's a great time.
It didn't make me want to kill myself after watching it. So.
Yeah. You can't. Despite me saying this is the greatest animated film of all time. No, because it is to a certain extent, but I have only just watched
To a certain extent, so is it or not? It can't be the best to an extent.
No. Listen, okay.
No, it is.
But-
Not even to an extent. That bit when, Tom.
I say that every time I leave the cinema. I finished Expendables 3 and was like, that is the best film.
Okay. So what I'm saying is your thought process of ranking films, despite the fact I introduce a topic, is flawed, mate. Because my emotional reaction to Finding Nemo is completely different to this film, but potentially on par with how much it got to me. But this film got to me more because now I'm reconsidering life and existence. Whereas after Finding Nemo, I was reconsidering
Getting a fish.
getting a fish. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying like in terms of like the quality of the art. I'm just saying my list is like what I like and what I could probably watch the most times over and over.
Simple as that.
Yeah, it's not like
But
it's
that's a
not.
dumb way of listing it, though.
Why? Why is that a dumb way of listening?
If rewatchability was like your way of listing stuff,
He
some
just
of my
likes
favorite
it.
films I couldn't watch
He
loads.
just likes the film.
Yeah, but that means it doesn't
No,
just
I
mean
mean
that. It just means
rewatchability.
my like of it. And generally, if I like a film more, I'd be more inclined to rewatch it. Is generally but I'm
That's not the
I
same
think-
for me.
I think
You're a fascist.
I think Synecdoche, New York is like 10 out of 10 masterpiece, but I don't think I could watch that every day of my life. Or like loads. You know
Yeah, but
what I mean?
that's my point in that some of the films that have affected me the most and I have the strongest emotional connection to and like have had like the biggest impact upon me whilst watching.
Your points in the bin. You said strongest.
Play that back because I
You got
didn't.
burned, bro.
And if I did, then fair play, but I
roasted.
don't remember it.
What did he say?
I don't know.
Strongest.
Strongest.
He said strongest with a G-H-I-S-T. He said strongest with a G-H.
Everything you've ever said is invalid, Thomas. Let's make a new Discord server, guys. Let's not invite you to the next podcast.
I'm just trying to say.
What would you rate it?
Boss
Then,
Baby.
Tom? What would you rate It's Such a Beautiful Day? Give it a numerical
Why are you
value.
coming at me like this? Stop trying to compartmentalize films into lists, okay? Because it's wrong. Films are experiences.
Yeah, I can list them in terms of.
Yeah, guys, they're experiences.
Don't even have a list.
Give it a
This
number.
podcast, I think, is coming to a close.
Give it a number, Tom.
Any
This
any
is chaos.
any film news we want to go over?
We have to all fucking give it a number.
Yeah, we have to give it a number.
Okay, quick fire round. Go. One number, no explanation, just the number.
10.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good idea.
10.
Cool, Ben.
10.
2.5. Tom.
8.5.
Oh, I thought you
Okay.
were going to say 69. I'll say it. I'll be the man in this situation. I rate it as 69. Okay.
Excellent day. Wait. Very good, very good.
Why has this episode descended
I
into
don't know.
like what's happening?
This has turned into mates just having a chat in the evening, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think
No.
that's what we need though. I think that's what we need more
Yeah.
of. We need more candid conversation between the lads. Because we can't because as I do like this podcast so far out of the one episode I've watched back. I do like it, but we do fall into that bit when trap very easily.
That's very true.
And
Yeah.
it's
Comment
good
below.
it's good to break up. Comment below your favorite bit
When we
of the
say
podcast,
that bit when.
and you have to start
That
your
bit
comment
when
with that bit
Charlie
when.
said that bit when. Oh my god.
Do we want to
Brilliant.
move on
Endless
to
loop.
Daniel's recommendation?
Okay.
Do we not do film news anymore?
Well, no, this bit first.
Have you got?
Do we have any film news?
Is there any film? news?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got film.
The Snyder Cut is going to be in a box ratio. That's actually exciting. I like box ratios.
Wait,
Square.
what is it?
Yeah.
I actually
4:3.
didn't know That's
Not
the
not
only-
quite 4:3, but like
More square.
maybe like
that. Why did he want to do that? What's
because
the
he likes it. He likes to compose stuff like vertically. Is what he said.
No.
Like you know, like
Hmm.
Superman like shooting up into the sky. He wanted to get it like. I don't know. It looks really cool though from the stuff that I've seen from it. I think because I'm not a fan of like when things go super
Oh.
wide.
I don't.
Do you know what I mean?
Wait, are you talking
I
about
d-
Justice League in general or just how it looks?
Just how it looks.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, I actually also am
Right.
excited for the Snyder Cut because I do quite like Zack Snyder in a weird way. I do. I think I'm cheering him on in my head. You know what I mean?
Have any
And
of
what-
you guys seen Justice League? The
I've
original cut?
watched so many videos about how bad Justice League is, but I have never watched it.
Yeah, Dan.
I have a question, right? Please don't laugh at me. I watched half of Transformers: The Night Returns or something like that.
The last night.
The night.
The last night.
There's no
yeah.
way they called it the night return.
They called it that night.
Shocking, the sun's gone down again. Who'd have thought? We need
This is
Optimus Prime.
spelled with a K.
We need
It's spelled with a K.
It was a one night.
All right,
Right, I
Dan,
don't,
make
I
your
don't know
point
if you've
this
seen
time.
it. Has any of you seen it?
I'm not.
No.
I've seen part of it, I think.
Oh, right. Okay, it's not really that
Transformers
important.
peaked with Revenge.
But
of the
there's
Fallen.
one thing I noticed. True. Also, this was a spontaneous thing that I did. I just watched it, right? And there's
then
there's these like awful cuts in this film. No, there's these awful cuts in this film where it will be like full screen, and then it will cut to like half screen. They'll just go back to full screen again, and you're like, why? Fuck off.
A
Chris
different
Nolan.
aspect
Chris
ratio.
Nolan does that as well. It was when he like switches between
but not
IMAX
as-
cameras.
He's a waste man.
It's
whoever
not
did that.
obnoxious though.
Chris Nolan does it a
Mm.
lot in his
Yeah.
in some of his films.
But that is what the old Zachy boy said about the Justice League thing. Is
Zac Efron.
he's having the whole
Yeah.
thing be put into the boxy ratio to stop it changing throughout
Mm.
because he wanted to shoot
fair,
all the
that's fair.
he wanted to shoot all the good stuff in IMAX, and he couldn't
And the
afford to
bad
do the
stuff.
whole thing in IMAX, so
Yeah.
he's just like changed the whole thing to one ratio.
Do you reckon it will actually be any good?
I
No.
have high
good.
hopes.
Okay,
No.
okay. Have any of you seen the first Justice League cut?
Yeah, but
Not
we
really,
know
no.
that sucks because
Okay.
of the studio interference
So
of
you have
Whedon.
you have a steaming pile of shit, okay, and then you let loose this maniac to go have another shit on it, okay, and somehow that steaming pile of shit's gonna become a beautiful meal that we're all gonna like. It's gonna be succulent. That's what we're getting told.
Well, I'm not actually going to see it because I don't have the service it's going to be on, which is a
well,
large
we
shame.
should do it. We should all watch it when it comes out and talk about it.
Can we
Maybe-
get HBO
maybe.
Max here? Is that possible?
because I don't know if you
If you
guys
got a
saw
VPN,
the
maybe.
trailer, but
No.
the closing line of the trailer to reel everybody in was Jared Leto's Joker was back from
Oh,
Yeah.
I knew that.
Suicide
yeah, I
Squad,
knew
and
that.
he says his line is, "We live in a society." No joke. No joke. He says
He's
that fucking
spitting-
line,
Tommy's-
and it cuts to black.
He's just spitting facts. I don't know what your problem is.
That was no, Tom. That was definitely a joke. I guarantee that that's not in the film.
I kind of don't like.
No, I know
Jared
it
Leto.
was.
They memed out. I think even Jared Leto's Joker looks cool from like the press shots I've seen of him
He looks
in
like
this
a
next
gimp.
film.
He's such a gimp. They've sexualized the Joker. Like, do you know how fucking weird that is? Sexy Joker.
Yeah, but they sexualized a bit of everything, didn't they?
Excuse me for being optimistic
So you
about the future
thinking-
of the
you think
DCEU.
Joker 2019. They sexualized Joker in that. His body.
Yeah, he's topless. Do you not see that?
If
It's
if
hot
my
stuff.
if my reaction to that film tells you anything, they did.
Not your proudest wank.
That's all I'll say.
I started watching Uncut Gems for the second time yesterday. I got
Good
maybe
film.
20 minutes in and I had to turn it off because it's too much. And I had to go
Too
put my head
intense.
outside of the stable door at the front of the house and just
Well,
breathe some fresh
too
air.
intense. Or
And then I
just-
didn't finish it.
Did you go like this?
Like a horse. No, I don't know what it's just such an intense film. It's just like I decided I couldn't actually watch it a second time, so I didn't.
I want to
It was just a bit like
because they've made it 4K on Netflix now. No, when I first watched it, it wasn't in.
And then they'll release it in Criterion,
And then,
And I will have it.
And then I'll be forced to buy it. That's gonna happen.
Oh, I also watched a recommendation from Thomas Potter, Homecoming, by the same creator as Mr. Robot, which
Oh yeah.
I really liked. It was very good.
you
I was
seen the
going
whole
to
thing
comment
now?
on it. Say again?
Have you seen the whole thing now?
I haven't seen the second series because you said it wasn't any good.
Yeah, but like, have you seen all of series one?
I have, yeah. I was going to make the point earlier because we were talking about aspect ratios and it switches between 16:9, I think, and
one by one.
and 1:1, and it works really well, especially when there's certain points where it like zooms from the 1:1 into the 16:9, and it's like at a very pinnacle point, and it's like it makes you feel funny because you're so used to them, and then
It
when
works
when they
it's got
warp.
purpose.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
works
There's
'cause
a
it's got
really good
purpose.
reason for it.
There's a reason to have the different aspect ratios. They don't work when it's just obnoxiously switching between them for like either technical reasons or just to be an obnoxious little whatever. Yeah.
Go on, pick a bad word.
Tom's
Tom.
got such beef
Yeah.
today. Tom, who's
Do you
hurt?
guys wanna-
Who's hurt you? Your brain
Do you
woke
guys-
up and chose violence.
Yeah, a little bit.
What's that, Dan?
Do you want to
Nice.
know what my film is?
Oh yes, please.
Yes.
Yes, please.
What if we all just said no?
Okay, this film.
We did that to Charlie's music.
1990. This film is 1999, right? It's got
Memento.
Jake Gyllenhaal in it as a 16-year-old. No,
Gyllenhaal.
it's called October Sky. Gyllenhaal, whatever his name is. It's
Gyllenhaal.
October
Gyllenhaal.
Sky.
I thought you were going to say Donnie Darko. I got excited.
Not seen October Sky.
No,
That's where he's like
October Sky. Have you guys seen it?
I've never heard of it.
I've not
I've
seen
not
it.
even
No.
heard it.
I have heard
Okay,
of it.
cool. This is the
That's
first film that I actually cried at.
Fuck's sake.
But the reason I cried at it, no, why are you crying?
Because now I'm going to have to rewatch Friends all week to get a break from all this.
No, it's not that bad. No, the reason I cried about it was because I was at uni, I was all alone, and I was sad, and I missed my parents.
Okay,
basically-
but now we're all
as-
stuck at home, so it's fine.
Yeah. As you guys are like boys, men, I think, and if you've
Boys
had a
killer.
relationship with your dad, then I think this film probably kick you in the stomach as well.
Okay.
So yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
I'm excited.
Fair
to watch
enough.
But
Yeah, I haven't heard of it before.
Also very joyful at the same time.
Yeah, and you say it's Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, it's his first ever.
Yeah, Gyllenhaal, whatever his name is.
He's a good actor.
Bloody good.
Well, yeah.
He is.
Bloody good he is.
Yeah,
What I love about doing this
he's
is
probably
like,
one of my
when,
favorite actually.
Like,
I'd say.
everyone keeps like mentioning all these like super different films, and I'm just like, I'm not researching any of them before watching them. I'm just going straight in, and it's good fun because like
Blind
you
watching.
go in you go in a bright-eyed,
figure it out, don't you?
naive
See it.
young man, and you come out a broken soul.
Well, recently,
Who's just who's just pissed his pants and he's got shit on the walls. So that's what I really like about what's going on.
But I'm really interested to see how you guys think about this film, and like if you guys have a similar experience to I do.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I am as well. I'm not going to look it up, like what Charlie just said. I'm not going to look it up. I'm just going to get it and watch it. Where can you stream it? Do you know?
I think it's on Netflix.
No, I just checked. It's not.
Yeah, it was.
You can rent it on.
Tom was going to hate it.
Seems a bit too Netflix.
What?
This is way too mainstream. You wouldn't catch me watching The Queen's Gambit.
Bro, I watched The Queen's Gambit and it was.
You watched one episode.
He's watched The Queen's Gambit.
Oh,
I'm not here next week.
I'll be watching The Boys in 4K. I don't know what I've got against The Boys. I probably need to watch it.
Oh, it's actually not too bad. It's kind of okay.
What did all you
But
guys
it's also
think of
fun.
Queen's Gambit?
I
I
really
haven't seen
liked
it.
it.
It's all right. It's pretty
I
good.
thought, Charlie.
Pretty good.
I found it very
Exactly,
strange to start
exactly.
with, but
I like.
do you
It
mean
Very
exactly?
Netflixy.
made me like chess.
I've not seen it.
Apparently it's like a live action like shonen manga. You know, like
Yeah.
like
I
in
don't know.
oh no, sorry, like anime. You know, like the main character like picks up a hobby and he goes, "I'm gonna be the best in the world," and then there's like all these tournament arcs and all of that. It's like a live
It's
action.
like
chess.
haiku, but for chess.
It's haiku for chess.
Hmm.
If you haven't watched Haiku, you can probably give it a miss. It's just hours
It's
upon
insane
hours
thing.
of motivational speeches about friendship and teamwork.
But what you
Yeah,
guys,
the one-
what you
the
guys
one
don't
bone-
understand is that the setter is the most crucial position in volleyball, and they control the entire
Yeah,
game.
and what you want to do is when you're spiking, you just want to trust in his aim to throw it directly where your hand will be, and then get the finishing move over the net, over the wall that is blocking your way from what you want to be the best volleyball player in the world.
And if you have enough willpower,
Karasuno crows fly.
Stop.
I
One bit in-
recently
in-
finished season 2. So
in
you
Tom's
carried on
defense,
watching it.
a bone
I did.
a bone I have to pick with Queen's Gambit is, I mean, if you haven't watched it, it's not going to mean anything, but
That bit
it's
when-
got such a no. The film as a whole has this.
Not film.
Oh shit!
Way, oh my
God!
The text as a whole. When we look at it as a whole.
Basically, what I'm saying, the
You know-
chessboard that she sees on a ceiling because she's done ketamine and it makes her
She's
have
done
these
that.
visions.
I didn't know it was that bit. How'd you know that?
How do you know what cat looks
I know what you mean.
How do you know what ketamine looks like then?
I don't.
I'm gonna
it's
have
the
a
way
chat
they
with your
describe
mother.
What the their description of the prescription pills that they are taking made me
Yes,
think
Ben.
that's ketamine.
Oh.
But she starts seeing a chessboard on the ceiling, and that's how she gets good at chess.
Why?
You
Why
can
then?
get it, Ben. We got him, boys.
Okay.
Book him.
He won't be coming back next week after that comment.
Right, so there's two down, me and Tom, who's left.
It's going to be a one-man.
No one wants to watch my film, clearly.
Thank
This
you.
has been Pod Blank. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
Finn.
do it, man. Do it.
Fuck off.
Go for it.
This has been Pod Blank with me, Charlie Martin, and no one else because everyone else has left. See you later.
Bye.
See you later, guys.
Bye.